Hi, everybody. I'm so excited about this day, and I wish I could be with you because it's amazing. Like, this book that I wrote is now translated into Vietnamese, and it means something to me. Also, in part because I've been to Vietnam. I've been traveling throughout Vietnam for a number of weeks, 15 years ago, so the country must have changed quite a bit. And also because I just feel so grateful for all those people who've spent time translating this book and then, making that translation happen. And I'm excited just to think about what this could mean, to see that maybe in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, there are some organizations in Vietnam that have, embraced some of these ideas and that, it makes lives better for people. So this is just amazing for me. And yeah, I'm really curious. I'd love to be there today just to see how these ideas make sense to you. Like, I'm sure that with the cultural differences, some of these ideas will take a particular bend, a particular angle. And I want to share the thought because, this book has been translated now into almost 20 languages. And I often get this question, yeah, but can it work in our culture? Like, does it not only work in Europe or in the United States or in the West? By the way, I get the same questions in the West, right? People in the US say, yeah, maybe this can work in Europe, but I'm not so sure that it can work here. And then people in Europe say, oh yeah, surely this can work in the United States, but can it work in Europe? So there seems to be this question everywhere, because some of these ideas are quite radical. And here's my thought on this: is that I think we need to distinguish between a surface level of cultural differences and then a deeper level of human drivers, of human motivations. So at the surface level, very clearly, we have quite some, really strong cultural differences. Clearly within countries in Europe, within countries in Asia, within, regions in the United States and Latin America. And so some of these ideas in the book will, I think, take a particular shape or a particular language. There's some countries that tend to be more deferent to hierarchy than others. But right now, all countries are hierarchical, right? It's just the way we deal with hierarchy that's different. Some countries, people show up more with their emotions. Other countries, are more guarded. But these are surface differences. Underneath it, I believe that there's some fundamental human longings, human hopes. And so, for instance, some things I write about in the book about self-management, I believe that whatever the culture, if we have high or low deference to hierarchy, there is a driver in us that wants to do good work, that wants to have the freedom to do good work, that is proud of the autonomy that you get when you do good work. And when I ask leaders in organizations that operate with self-management, and I ask them, so can this work with everybody? I get a strikingly similar response where, several of these leaders have told me almost the exact same thing, where they say, hey, all of these adults that work in my organization are adults in their private life. In their private life, they decide if they want to marry somebody, which house they will buy, if they will, take a mortgage for that house, maybe which school they to send their kids to. So everybody in their private life is self-managing. So why couldn't they in a traditional organization? And so I think that is a fundamental drive that exists everywhere. Whether you have sort of a high deference to hierarchy or not. And clearly I see this, I hear about self-managing organizations in India, in very poor parts of India, where you could say, this has a caste system that is way more hierarchical than Vietnam. So if it works there, why couldn't it work in Vietnam? I've just been to China where, this is working. And I just heard about a self-managing organization in Korea, which is a very, hierarchical system, social system. So I believe that underneath these cultural differences, there's really this fundamental human longing for autonomy. And I think there's a similar human longing for wholeness, to be seen and heard and acknowledged for who you are. in every culture around the world, people have friends to whom at some point they share what is really happening with them, right? Now, in some countries that's easier than others, but everybody has that longing. And so this is what's happening in organizations. It's simply a place where we can be ourselves and drop some of the masks that we're wearing. Now, some cultures might have, more formal masks than others, but all the cultures have masks. And so it's a leap in every single country to get rid of those masks. And so I don't think it's very different for Vietnam than it is for any other country. So anyway, these are some thoughts that I wanted to share with you, and now I'm of course very curious how this lands with you and what you will make of it. And I would say, let's say that we talk in 5 years and we see what's happened since. And let's bet that there are a number of really inspiring organizations at that time that are the beginning of a larger movement. So that's my hope, and now it's up to you. And again, thank you to everyone who made this possible, made this happen, including organizing this day where you're together.